resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from.
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle, the ASIS strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rate as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from.
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle, the ASIS strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
the legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rate as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from.
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle, the ASIS
The
strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
Good morning and welcome to Africa's Finest Breakfast Show's Global Morning, and definitely a very amazing Sunday morning to be with you. Alright, we intend to make your Sunday truly amazing with the beautiful sun rays out there. My name is Anthony Momodi. Welcome to today's edition of the program Global Morning, where we'll be looking at issues making the rounds across the globe, and also give you some little bit of entertainment in between to make your Sunday truly sunny and what the wow. Alright, for sports fans, today is a very big day for all Manchester United fans all over the world. They've waited for 3 weeks for today, this very moment, for them to see their new head coach, Ruben Amorim, and what he has in store for them as the Red Devils visit Ipswich this evening. Away from that, we've got some very interesting talking points playing out in the Middle East, where it's been a hell of a time for Lebanon, despite the ICC talking about the International Criminal Court issuing a warrant of arrest for Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, and also the former defense chief, Gallant. Israel is not abating its war against Hezbollah and the Hamas group. Just this morning, around the early hours of this morning, there was a very horrific airstrike at Beirut, which has left 8-story building shattered and in rubbles. And the big talk is that Mohammed, one of the Hezbollah head men in the person of Mohammed Asar, was the man being targeted, but it has left 20 people dead and as much as 60 injured. So we'll be looking at these, and also the main talking point today will be the IMF, International Monetary Fund, and what its policies has done to this great country, Nigeria, and what it's still doing to Nigeria. We'll be looking at that. And also we'll be taking our searchlight to the southeast, where after the recent victory, according to the defense headquarters, of the arrest of Simon Ekpa, the self-acclaimed Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic, we're hoping that Nigeria's treaty with Finland will make sure he's extradited back to the country. And so we'll be looking at what this will do with the sit-at-home phenomenon come to an end. And also we'll be looking at the chieftains of the Southeast, specifically one man who has impacted the lives of the Southeasterners and the country as a whole, late Ifeanyi Ubah. Remember, he used to have a football team also, So we're looking at the life and times of Ifeanyi Ubah, what he meant to the people of the Southeast, the country, and his loss. Was it a controversial death or not? We're looking at all these tidbits on today's edition of the program, Global Morning. My name is Anthony Momodi once again, and hopefully I will bring you one of the chieftains of the Southeast, someone who has also paid his contributions to the development and well-being of the Southeast and the country as a whole. He will be my special guest on today's edition. First of all, let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll be dropping in all the stories making the rounds, and we'll kick into discourse almost immediately. Stay with me. welcome back from that quick break. It's now time for us to hit the discuss button, and it's time for me to introduce my guest, Honorable Tony Uche Ezekolo, the former president of Hanezemdigbo Worldwide, the youth wing of that epic organization. He is in the live studio. I want to say thank you very much for joining me in the live studios.
It's my pleasure.
All right, we've got a lot of talking points, but let's begin from the Middle East conflict quickly, where Israel again this morning did hit the Lebanon, the capital, talking about Beirut. As many as 20 persons lost their lives, and it's being said that they were targeting Hezbollah leader, the person of who, because of one man, 20 persons have seemed to have lost their lives. Do you think Israel is willing to back down? We're talking about Mohammed Haba, is the man that targeting the Hezbollah leader. That has cost the life of 20 other Lebanese persons. There are 60 injured. Even with the warrant of arrest before Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, the former defense chief, what does this tell us as regards Israel's stance?
Thank you, Tony. Good morning, everybody, and global morning this Sunday morning. Coming down to the war in the Middle East, I want to make it clear that you talked about the issue of killing 20 people targeting one man.
No,
that man is not one man. I want to get something clear. It's not like telling me that America or Britain was targeting one man out of Hitler. It's not one man. Any head of an organization represents the organization. So it's one man, numerous people, soldiers, army, terrorists. So, and like if other people eventually happen to be in harm's way in pursuit of such a very dangerous human being, well, to God be the glory. We give all the glory to God, and then may their souls rest in peace. When you talk about the issue of terrorism, it's not something that should be taken with kid gloves, especially when it comes to terrorist organizations like the Hamas, the Hezbollah, the ISWAP, the ISIS, the Boko Haram. It's not a group that should be taken with kid gloves. The problem we have here, like in Nigeria, is that most of we play, we joke with everything. If Nigeria had been very serious like this, we won't have this banditry in the north, we won't have this unknown government in the east, we won't have this Boko Haram, this ISWAP, now the Bukarawas, what do they call themselves there in the Sokoto axis. Israel doesn't joke with his security because he knows that the life of the nation depends on the security of their people. So any group or individual that is seen to have capacity of ignoring a larger threat to the state of Israel, they don't treat such with kid gloves. They go after the person because that's the only way they can survive. So, what I want to advise Lebanon, if you are listening, is that Lebanon as a country should disown Hezbollah, join Israel and other world powers to eliminate the terrorist organization Hezbollah, and then also that to eliminate Hamas, and then bring them to a negotiation and agreement table in order to maintain peace in the Middle East. But while doing that, there's need for all the world powers to think about how to ensure that Iran, especially the voluntary Iranian government, that is responsible in training, equipping, and supporting the terrorist organizations, to be brought to a state where they do not have the capacities again to continue doing the harm they are doing across the world, especially when it comes to ensuring that Iran is never allowed to have nuclear capability. If if it were, and like this thing that's happening in the Middle East currently, I blame it to some extent on President Joe Biden of the United States. When Trump was the president, he ensured that there was a strict targeting of news around the Iranians with strong sanctions to ensure that their nuclear capability programs are minimized to the barest minimum, and they don't also have unnecessary extra hedge funds that can be used to sponsor terrorism. So let's just that. They talk about the issue of despite Benjamin Netanyahu's ICC warrant of arrest. I think ICC was being totally unjust and unfair in this game, because you cannot leave out the cause of a problem and start attacking the symptom, the reaction. If ICC is a serious, responsible court, international court organization that is not biased and corrupt, the first people they should have sanctioned with arrest warrant should have been the Hamas terrorists that all of them that plotted and executed the heinous massacre of Israelis in October 7. Now, you talk about the issue of IMF ICC. What are they doing about the massacres going around in Sudan, in Congo, where Americans and British and other Westerners are killing hundreds of thousands and millions of Congolese because of some minerals? The same thing they did, standing by doing nothing when the Rwandan genocide occurred. The same silence that they maintained, even supporting during the Nigerian Biafran war. The same thing they were doing as terrorists were battering and destroying most part of Sahel states in Africa. The same thing they were doing even at the level of Ethiopia, Somalia, and then all those wars that were in Africa. They were not clear if the interests of the Western powers are protected and they are stealing, robbing, extracting our wealth unlawfully, is all the interest protected. But once it now start affecting and they feel that it's somehow the now start coming out. To me, if you want to be just, you go to the people with clean hands. I support totally the position of the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, on this matter. That if you want to solve a problem, you solve the root cause. Throughout the issue of United Nations resolutions, we never saw a time when they passed a resolution condemning the Hamas and the terrorist act in the United States, in the state of Israel. If they had done so, Israel should not have gone to this extent. Israel feels threatened, and they feel that there's a conspiracy against them, what they call anti-Semitism, by those international organizations. So as far as I'm concerned, the warrant of arrest on Benjamin Netanyahu is a joke taken too far, and it's an unjust and unfair act. Israel cannot sit back and allow Hezbollah to destroy their small nation that are not just more than the size of, they're not to the southeast of Nigeria. And then you now keep them to relax and keep quiet while those people are battering them with bombs and missiles and all those things. They have to, if you want to ensure that a mosquito does not bite you, if that's sledgehammer you get, use sledgehammer to kill it, to kill the parent mosquito, and ensure it doesn't bite you again. So what Israel is doing in Lebanon, in as much as the toll on the lives of people is monumental and it's unacceptable. But I'm saying that the world should equally look at the issue of the corporate existence of Israel as a nation and Jews as a people. Because if it were you that what happened to them happened in Nazi Germany, you will never, or in the most part of Europe, or previously in that Middle East, before they were dispersed by the Muslims, by the Byzantine Empire, by the Turkish Empire, by the Roman Empire, by the British and other people, I think what they are doing is that they are taking their survival in their own hands.
All right, In case you're just joining us, it's still good morning, and it's now time for us to go for a very quick break. When we return from this break, we'll be looking at what the papers are saying this morning before we hit into our discourse properly. Let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll be looking at the big stories in the papers. Stay with us. Welcome back, still global morning, and we had to take that talking point out of the way because it's very important. It's just happening live in Lebanon, and let's look at what papers are saying quickly before we get into our next discourse. We're looking at the Nation's newspaper. We got some very interesting headlines. Anambra residents set Soludo's revenue agents on fire is the big headline story from the Nations. Page 2 is where we get a big story. Anambra residents set Soludo revenue agents ablaze. On page 2 is where we find a disturbing story. Crude supply in Naira to us is peanuts, says Dangote Refinery, is where you get that big story. It says that crude supply in Naira to us is peanuts, says Dangote. PDP crisis is the kicker. Governors mount fresh pressure on the Magu. Once his fate determined by February 2025, acting chair to defy governors site clink on till December 2025, row over PDP chairmanship election results. And other headline stories: villagers, 14 others kidnapped in Kaduna. Why against academics for football? Semi Ajayi. The federal government determined to end insecurity in Southeast, says Minister. That's the big story on page 6 of the Nation's newspaper. Let's quickly look at it. Anglo residents says Soludo's revenue agent ablaze. Is that a good sign from the Southeast, even when we're celebrating that peace might begin to return to the Southeast?
My brother, is very unfortunate that what's happening in my state is becoming unfortunate, unbearable. You know, and especially since the coming in of my Governor Charles Soludo, Professor Charles Soludo, who we all expected that he will be better than those before him, that immediately he come with his weight of experience where he have worked before, former CBN governor, former consultants, and all this into IMF, World Bank, and so many organizations, and they're helping in building the economy of some other countries across the world. We are thinking that he's coming into Anambra State, will now bring Anambra State to a first-class state in Nigeria. But unfortunately...
Are you sure he's not in the process?
You know, it's not about being a process. The issue that the formula you put on, the program you put on in resolving problems will eventually lead to how it will be resolved quicker or later. Just like people in the federal government telling everybody to have patience, but we know you are hungry, we know you are suffering, have patience. While you see the profligacy of the way the federal government is wasting money, wasting all kinds of resources or useless things, like cars and residential buildings and all those things that are not even important, if you know this so much to be desired from the government. The approach you take resolves a problem. The approach matters so much. The solution, the formula you employ, when Willie came into power, Willie Obiano, in 2014, he saw that for a economy of a nation to grow, the first thing you need to do is to handle the issue of insecurity. And I will tell you, within the first 3 months in office, before the first 100 days in office, Anambra became quiet and secured, became the most secured state in Nigeria after turbulent previous years and months, because the man was determined and he knew what to do. And even when he may not have known everything, he assembled a team of experts. There was an Israeli security expert that came in, and so many others. They said that they have a serious security summit in Anambra State, later had that of the Southeast, because Anambra State cannot stay in isolation. And for that, you now package everything, and then you come down on people. You need diplomacy.
So you can use the kinetic and non-kinetic approach.
And it worked like magic. Within the first 100 days in office, Anambra became a certain state in Nigeria. No doubt about that. And then, if you look at those things that he did to make it work, there are no need reinventing the wheels. Like a professor have come in, a professor should have known that if something works, what you do is you adjust and improve on it and it works better. But instead of coming in to take on that thing that works, the governor, our governor, Mr. Governor came in and rather dismantled the whole system and rather becoming close. Today, another is one of the most insecure states in Nigeria. You know, it baffles us that even the man that told us that when he comes in, he's going to utilize system of revenue correction, of internal revenue correction. Instead of now doing that, first of all, he said, I banned touts from the parks, and then I do that, without even thinking it through. Forgetting that those the people who are banning in those parks, they have also their needs and values. If you remove them from where they are working without providing an alternative for them to feed, you threw them into the crime world, and that's what has happened in Anambra State. Anambra State, within a matter of weeks, turned out to become the most insecure state in Nigeria. It's unfortunate. We are taking that those that have too much. In fact, in Nigeria, it is the more educated the person is, the lesser his capacity to deliver in practical terms of governance. And we should look at that. So what happened in it becomes very unfortunate and uncomfortable, where revenue collectors use rug, machetes and other things to deal with what we call it, I don't know what I call it in English. I can't remember. Club stick to break people's knees and legs and hands.
That's forcefully correcting.
Even most times innocent people are dealt with by those revenue agents. Governor promised that when he comes in, he's going to digitalize the revenue collection in parks and markets, and maybe that was why he now dismissed the touts. But now, after a few weeks, touts now came in uniform and became more brutal. That life became, in fact, you fear the touts in Onitsha and other urban centers in Anambra more than you fear the kidnappers and armed robbers.
Well, it's
unfortunate that the government have to do something, have to change that method, because Anambra said we are businessmen. Our market, our commerce is our mainstream of life. We must have to find a way of making the things in advance. He has stayed in advance. He lives in London and in Dubai and other places. He should employ the method that are using in those places here.
All right, let's quickly look at the PDP crisis, Damagum. Why is Damagum becoming an enigma for the PDP? Whose interest is he serving that there's this back and forth about him going or leaving? How do you think it's going to affect the PDP?
Well, PDP is on the verge of self-destruct. You know, what you call implosion is what is about happening in PDP. They didn't manage their success very well. They allowed themselves to use themselves. In fact, they turned to become the animals that eat themselves. That's what PDP had turned to become. And if care is not taken, PDP will self-destruct. And that is what we're already seeing. They have come to start, one of the former National Vice Chairman, the Southwest leader, came up to say that the APC is responsible for crisis in PDP. Now, PDP people are those small children that should be guided by other people. They have their governors, they have resources, they know their sense. We allow another person to now come in and destroy what you are building. PDP has become a disappointment. And especially within war between Atiku and the Governor Wike is the main cause of the problem. Those two gentlemen, PDP should show them the way out if they are a serious party. Wike and Atiku are the major problems of PDP currently. And if they do not do something in that regards, they will destroy their own party. They may not even have a party to run for 2027 election with. And if I am APC, they have given us opportunity to even consolidate on power and making sure that this their problem becomes intractable until after 2027 and even beyond there. So if you are running an opposition with another person, you are in a war. In fact, politics is a war by other means. What do you feel that what you go do? With PDP not suppressing and creating crisis in other parties, the crisis we are having in Abga today, I'm the national veteran of Abga, Southeast. The crisis we are having in Abga today were created by PDP in 2005-2006. PDP, the greatest sponsor of the crisis in Abga. So what they are doing to other parties, if it's happening to them, good luck to them. But if they should be very careful. They should not allow the selfish interest of two men to destroy a party that held so much hope for Nigeria and Africa. PDP should not be allowed to go down here, because if PDP goes down this way they are going now, Nigeria will have a big problem, because we now have a one-party state. I won't have a one-party state. We now have a dictatorship.
Shouldn't that be an opportunity for other parties like yours to rise up to the occasion? We've got Labour Party also in the mix.
Yeah, we are Abga. We are on it at currently now. We are doing a process of reformation. You see, that was why Chief Idozo Njoku and people like us, the founding members of the Abga, Chief Okorie, the founder, the major Oga of Abga, have all come together to do a 6 years battle, legal battle, to take back Abga from those that have hijacked it. That's why the founders of PDP should do, to find a way of taking back their party from those that have hijacked the party. That is why we have fought this war, have over 43 different court cases across the country. It's when they go to Supreme Court 4 times. Even now, we are awaiting the final Supreme Court judgment. And when it comes, you see Abga stay back to start looking how to get things better. Labour Party crisis also came in because they mismanaged their success. You know, they had a sudden success and they mismanaged it. And if that's not taken, if I were still APC, I'm not allowed to have peace. Well, that's how to do. It's all about war by other means.
All right, let's quickly, before we leave the nation's newspaper, a quick one as regards the federal government determined to end insecurity in the southeast, says the minister. Are you convinced the minister and the federal government wants peace in the southeast when there's still not freedom for Nnamdi Kanu?
Well, I am not convinced. But the meeting they had in the southeast about over the weekend is a very good step in the right direction. I quite applaud that we've been asking for such a meeting for a very long time. But he who goes to equity will go with clean hands now. If you tell somebody, a child, you are going to give him 10x, don't give one, make you see how the test, and before you expect you are remaining 9. Like you said, without the release of Nnamdi Kanu, you cannot define the direction to peace in the southeast of Nigeria.
Why is it so critical?
Because it's had become pivotal. Federal government have made Nnamdi Kanu a kind of a cult hero in the southeast. And maybe a hero, a very big one, with so much effect and control the system, that even the old and young, elites and others, you must have to pander in line with Nnamdi Kanu today for you to have your peace and progress, otherwise the southeast. And that was what they did by that unlawful attempt attack on his house after he had been granted bail by the government to try to assassinate him allegedly. That's what that people, and by the time he was arrested and kept there, people now said see him as a greater hero than people used to. In fact, most people before then didn't used to take him very seriously. But by the time federal government started deifying him, he now becomes a huge hero. And today everybody is asking, the reason federal government to refuse. For them now, for average human, for federal government to refuse to release Nnamdi Kanu means that there's something bigger than we are thinking while we are holding him. If he is not that big or that thing, we are not releasing him. And today they are talking about also about the issue of Simon Ekpa. We have been arrested in Finland, so people are talking about extraditing him to Nigeria. Now if you do that one again, you double the problem. You release Nnamdi Kanu and then now bring back Simon Ekpa, aside going through him with him, what are going to do Nnamdi Kanu? I'm telling you, the problem will come compound, not only inside but beyond.
What would be the best bet?
The best approach is first of all release Nnamdi Kanu, and then discuss with the Finnish government to try Simon Ekpa there, and not to bring him here. Try him here, let him follow the laws of civilized nation, because Nigerian law don't apply. Because with what happened to Nnamdi Kanu, if you look at the issue of the forceful renditioning, the unlawful renditioning from Kenya, and then if you look at the situation whereby the law does not work For more than how many years now, the matter had not been tried and finished. And when the matter is finished and the court says obey court judgment, do not obey court judgment. A government that does not obey his own judgment of his own court is not seeking peace and progress of his own country. It's not proposing to have peace in this country. So the way forward is resisting Nnamdi Kanu. Allow the Finnish government to deal with the person that have disobeyed their own laws in that their own, because he is a Finnish citizen. Allow him to go to London there. They come back here when Nnamdi Kanu is released. Go into discussions and negotiations, talks with IPOB, with other, not only IPOB, with all the progressive groups, and the same thing with other self-determined groups in Nigeria, in the southwest, in the northeast and in the central, prescribing them will also be the federal government. I will tell you that the federal government prescribed IPOB unlawfully. Laws and on the international relations and other has said IPOB not a terrorist organization. They prescribe them, talk with them, engage them in serious talk, and look at what they are talking. Engage them in serious discussions. Not only Nigeria, but you must involve international organizations that is respected, so that they ensure that whatever agreement you reach will be kept. The United Nations and world power should be part of the negotiations, so we can have a peaceful Nigeria. Let me tell you, with what has happened from the Masob in 1999, when it was mishandled, the issue of Boko Haram, the way it was mishandled, the IPOB have led to Boko Haram, Banditry, Bukarawas, ISWAP, and other things coordination, Odua descendants, independent struggle, and others. Because then if you see that you cannot effectively handle it, so the other ones say, they start their own. Before you know what's happening now, you have self-determined group all over Nigeria. So the way to handle this issue is look at the root cause of the problems. People have said restructure Nigeria. Look at their problems, talk to them, take on the points, the key points from all their problems. They look at how to solve it, because without the component parts of the country, you can't have a country. So by the time you look at the problems, sincerely decide to solve it, and you see that these people will not start giving ear to you, and we have peace across the whole Nigeria. Because even if you have peace in the southeast, and without peace in other parts of the country, you have not got peace. So what we should do is do this needful. Engage them, engage the elites, engage different stakeholders, like they did in 2014 National Confab. Or at least, while you are talking with them, start with the implementation of the resolution of the National Confab. Read the white paper, start with the resolution of that 2014 National Confab. They can take it from there. You can also look at that APC restructuring report. Match it with that of the 2014 National the convention, and then take out the key points out of the start implementing gradually. And then you see this country normalizing and coming back in peace like a civilized nation.
All right, quickly, let's look at the Punch. Time out, our friend, this morning is running like wildfire. Looking at the Punch newspaper, the Punch headlines says PDP crisis, NWC accused of protecting party big wigs from sanctions. That's what the Punch paper is saying. We've got Seyi Tinubu, Lagos will serve father and son, says PDP. That's the custom mom, the smugglers torture suspected informant. Page 6 is where you find that story. And let's look at other headlines saying there, looking around from the Punch newspaper. Auditor General uncovers 197 billion contract fraud in MDAs. NNPC marketers move to stop petrol imports. And tax reform bills, reps deny governors threatening lawmakers. Quickly, let's just look at tax reform bills, reps deny governors threatening lawmakers. How do you see that panning out? And also not forgetting Lagos will not serve father and son.
I want to say that the issue of the tax reform bills, the problem with Nigeria is that most times those in power arrogate themselves the almighty nature of power, and then that whatever their own interest is in the interest of the country, that which is wrong. The federal government, they bringing them, Nigeria is long overdue for tax reforms. That is long overdue. Okay. And has issued every need equally to amend the constitution further to ensure that power is devolved from the center, from the federal government down to the state and the local governments. Local government autonomy has become a very good step in the right direction by the Tinubu administration. It should be strengthened and consolidated. then that should be reformed. But it should such a way that by the time they now push it to the National Assembly, it should be done in such a way that there should be public hearing, people's interest and opinion should be brought in, so we have the best product out of it. You cannot do it without that. Then in Lagos, Shehu Tinubu is a Lagosian, maybe either by birth, much as it may not be by origin, but at least by birth. And as a citizen of the state, he's free and had the right to contest for coalition of Lagos party if he's be the president. The only thing is that people is talking about his ability and capacity. Does he have the pedigree? Does he have the enough experience? What about his antecedents? Has he led where he had led before? Where has he led before? These are the people should talk about, not about the ephemerides, the sentimentalities that are not necessary. A father and a son can become president if they are very good and competent, and they move the nation forward. But what's about the capacity and the competence of the person? We also talk about so many other things that you raised there. PDP crisis, we talked about it. PDP is on its own down to Golgotha by his own self. And then issue of other issues of FRS and other things, and then the Auditor General covering about 197 billion naira fraud. The one they have been covering those days, where are the monies? They don't tell us. Most money they recover, or the one the EFCC sees, or the one that will return from the other countries, they return it back to Nigeria. Where are they? Those funds, maybe by the time they are now bring back, they root it. That's the problem we have here, because there's no accountability in that system. It should be transparent.
Okay, let's move on. Tax reform bills conceived in bad faith, poorly packaged, modern leaders are saying. Quickly, that's the last story.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's what I've said. If you said it had been conceived or something like that, what you need to do is...
Are we right?
I wouldn't say whether they're right or wrong. But I have not seen the tax reform bill. I have not seen it. First of all, as a legislator, I have to see it and read it. By the time I read it, I will now know whether it is right from my own perspective, as a businessman, as an economist, and then as somebody who is around. So I will look at it and also put my own opinion. What I said is that they should bring it to public opinion. Whatever you have as your own opinion, bring it to the public hearing in the National Assembly. Then everybody bring his own view. Then the majority views can then be taken. But issue of tax reforms is long overdue. We must have to reform the tax system in Nigeria. It's very important.
Right, very important. Let's quickly go for a quick break. Once we return from this break, we hit into the main discourse of the day, which has to do with IMF policies, the impact on Nigeria. Now, we also look quickly at the life and times of late Ifeanyi Ubah. Quickly, let's go for a quick break. Welcome back. You're still watching Global Morning. We have barely 10 minutes to cut a wrap on today's edition. But let's quickly look at the IMF policies in Nigeria, the impact on Nigeria. And I still have an economist, a businessman, former chief whip of the Anambra State House of Assembly, and also former president general of the youth wing of Ohanaeze Ndigbo worldwide, is in the studio, man of many colors, or feathers and many caps. Okay, let's quickly look at the IMF. Some have said they brought good and bad. Have they truly brought good to Nigeria?
I'm yet to still see the good the IMF have brought to Nigeria. If IMF, because I have gone through the issue of the aims and objectives of IMF and the operational status and others, and I look at the practical ways they have treated the African countries, the Asian countries, the third world countries, and the way they treated the first world countries, the West and others. I see that there's no atom of equity in the way they handle their own things. I think the IMF that we were set up around 1944, toward the end of the Second World War, and consolidated after the World War. I think it was established as a way of sustaining and consolidating the economic dominance of the West, of Europe and America, and the United States of America, over the rest of the world. Because their operational system, the funding, even most of the funds that were domiciled there were looted monies from the wars of Africa and all that are both in the IMF and the World Bank. And most of the people, they are called Bretton Woods organizations. Most of them are there. Those IMF, World Bank are established for the good of the West, and not actually to assist any third world country.
So this is small scale.
It's a small scale as far as I'm concerned. Which country in Africa have they helped? Who they help? You know, now when World Bank, United Nations, IMF do not try to condemn bad policy of government, when they do not listen to issue of the human rights that lead to bad governance and bad order, everything, if they still give loans
to bad government,
to military dictators, if they still advise military dictators on how to hold on power, if the IMF is and World Bank is advising Biya to remain in power 91 years after for 20 years in power, and that of Equatorial Guinea president, and so many time presidents who are not doing well, and how do you call that improvement? I've read that they have also given some more money to Cameroon and to Equatorial Guinea, where they should be sanctioning them. So IMF had brought serious problem in Nigeria. In fact, Nigerian economy was doing very well before IMF came in 1986, trying to twist the government of Nigeria for structural adjustment program SAP. They devalued our currency, and they tried to mess up the economy, because they know that those things they are trying to bring in cannot work here. Because before exotic solutions will work in a local setting, you must first of all localize whatever foreign solution you have. You must localize it, because the environmental factors, social factors, historic factors, cultural factors, traditional factors have so much to do with the success of any people you want to implement in a place. You cannot tell me what to work in Britain, bring it here. We and Britain, we are not the same people, we are not the type of human beings. We don't reason the same way. Our cultures are different. Everything is different. The British people are bandits, they are predators. Most of us here are not. They come here to steal. You know, to Africa to steal. America and other, they are a set of bandits that come to steal in Africa. How do you think they will help you to grow, when the only way they can survive is by stealing from you? So whatever they're advising you is what will help their own economic dominance here, to continue to own, to loot, to destroy here, so that their own economies can stand. I said in the last time that the day Africa rises up, stands up on its feet, that the Europe and America goes broke and goes hungry. You know, and that was what happened after the medieval period, where they now started scouting for food and survival across Africa and other people, where they know that God-given treasures are resident, so they can help you. Nigeria have team of experts in all fields that can be brought home. In fact, Nigerians are people fixing other countries, including the UK and United States of America and other places. Nigerian government should do what Obasanjo did. Obasanjo is one of the best presidents Nigeria have ever produced. Like him or hate him, he may have his own side by side, but he may be the best president. Because you know why? Obasanjo scouted for the best hands across that are Nigerians from every part of the world. He doesn't care about your tribe, about your region, about your political party affiliation. No, once you are good, he brings you in and gives you opportunity to work. If Riyadh did not die and that person followed up, although Jonathan followed it up, but Jonathan did not have so much that strength of mind and the character in order to be able to sustain those particular things that Obasanjo and Yar'Adua put in place. And that's why Nigeria has gone yakata. But what I think that the current president should do, they should stop the nepotic ways of appointments and other things they are doing currently, and imitate what Obasanjo did for the good of what Yar'Adua did, what Jonathan did for the good of this country. You cannot reinvent the wheel. The way the economy is going down. I don't think we need IMF. I think what we need is Nigerian own experts and economists, local ones, and we should also employ local strategies and local programs and local formula in order to solve the Nigerian problems. IMF won't be our solution.
All right, let's quickly jump into the last talking point. We have barely 5 minutes. Let's just look at quickly the lifetimes of Ifeanyi Ubah. I hope we've got his picture. Just a reminder to refreshen the hearts and minds of this gentleman to Nigerians. What can we say about the lifetimes of late Ifeanyi Ubah? He was there in sport. He had his own football club that did well. We saw him in politics. We saw him trying to galvanize young people, entrepreneurs in Anambra State and across the country.
My heart bleeds. The House of Anambra and the South bleeds over the death of Ifeanyi Ubah. Ifeanyi was a wonderful fellow, was a great man. He was everywhere at all times, at the same time. And he had done well in everything he puts hands in. Ifeanyi Ubah actually lived a kind of a life that, in fact, so used to come. Some people would think that he even lived up to 80 years. They wouldn't know that he just lived for 52 years.
His death was, some say it was controversial, the sudden death.
Yeah.
What's the true story of what happened?
I don't actually know the true story, but the death was controversial because I had a meeting with him some days before he traveled, and he was looking so sick. Although I know he had an operation sometime earlier the year and he was going for his medical checkups. But the problem is that, Ifeanyi works so hard, stress. In fact, 24 hours a day don't usually get enough for Ifeanyi to work. He's a workaholic, Ifeanyi he's the best so many areas. He has his own faults, although, but his involvement in politics has so much positive impact and the negative impact on himself. If Ifeanyi had listened to elders of our place, elders of our place, and left politics and concentrated in that business and his philanthropy, he may have been a bigger person and may have still been alive. And because if Ifeanyi has concentrated in that business, he was doing so well Ifeanyi became a colossus in his own field, challenging the big guys in the oil and gas sector. Ifeanyi should have been greater than he was. If a conference, maybe it is by around now, like after having matured properly very well and experience another thing, can now
graduate. But what made him a trouble for people in politics? Why did they want to take him out?
Ifeanyi is, as I say, it's a closest. When Ifeanyi comes, he takes over everywhere. Ifeanyi is everywhere at the same time. Ifeanyi has grassroots appeal. He reaches out to people. Ifeanyi is very charitable. Ifeanyi can borrow money and dash you to solve your own problem and start finding how to solve his own problem later. If in sports, you see how Ifeanyi Ubah football club came with the only standard stadium we have in Anambra State is built by Ifeanyi Ubah, apart from Rojeni Stadium by Rojeni. And then the Anambra State does not even have a stadium. As a state, we don't have a stadium. We only have some mini playgrounds we call stadiums, and a stadium. But that's that. And Ifeanyi in all sectors did very well. Even as a legislator, Ifeanyi is very good as a legislator. But I think that Ifeanyi jumped into politics so prematurely, so suddenly, and that some of us were very worried. Because it should have been our own Dangote, our own Totola, and Adenuga and things like that. That's what we expected, that Ifeanyi should have been our big man in the oil and gas sector and all that. And if Ifeanyi had not ventured to politics by now, Ifeanyi may have built a functional refinery, and without stories that we are hearing in these Dangote refinery stories. Because Ifeanyi is a go-getter. Just like his elder brother Ibeto, Cletus Ibeto, Kochalis and others. Many people are really gifted. Ifeanyi is blessed. So many things, so much energy. Ifeanyi has so much energy. We are close. We are from neighboring villages and we are close. And it's unfortunate we lost him and may his soul rest in peace. And Ifeanyi also contributed so much in issue of security in Anambra State and the Southeast. In fact, he wanted, at a point, he provided security equipment and gadgets to make sure that all his constituencies are networked in CCTV, and provided vehicles, arms and ammunition, and trainings for, local vigilantes to ensure that they become more effective and in security provision. At a point, he was even more effective in security provision than the state government of Anambra State government under Soludo. And everybody was so afraid because if I wanted to be governor in 2025.
Do you think that was taken out?
Taken out, I don't know about taking out, but the issue of 2025 governorship election might have affected him both health and otherwise. But in fact, I put him on a harm's way, both health and otherwise. And because he became a threat to everybody who wanted to be governor, including the sitting governor, became too much afraid and jittery, paranoid over Ifeanyi Ubah. That when Ifeanyi Ubah died, unfortunately died, a lot of people blew a breath of fresh air. But side relief that now this terrorist are on the way. But also we thank God for his life. He was very impactful. My own worry is that he didn't have enough time to hand over to his children and to the wife on all this. He has a very brilliant children, but didn't have time to hand them over. And he has so much properties everywhere. And then people will start stealing all of them now, although those things that will happen, the family goes to suffer it. But I pray God gives us the wisdom and then some person that can help them to work. And in the Southeast you are talking about, I think it's very beautiful before we go. Southeast, that means our big men. Our big men, I don't mean just the governors, because the major problem we have in Southeast are our governors, especially in Anambra State and Imo State are our governors. If the governors of Southeast will be sincere, come together, bringing the big men we have in Anambra State, the billionaires we have in Anambra State, and the community leaders we have in Anambra State, and in the whole of Southeast come together, like they do the administration, we should have got something big. And with what federal government is trying to do, if they become very sincere with it and integrate the people fully into it and are sincere, I think we achieve security and peace in Southeast. And once you achieve it in Southeast, it spreads to other parts of Nigeria. And then we have progress and development economically and otherwise. That's what we should be thinking about how to do it. So, and I charge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to move in that direction. If Southeast becomes peaceful, other places where the people need to say that Igbos are coming to disturb them, we have a condition in our place to work now, and then other people will have their peace in their own place. So allow us to have peace in our own place, then others will have peace in their own place. Because most of us believe that insecurity in Southeast is state-sponsored, is orchestrated politically from top. And that's what our worry. And if government shows faith in resolving it, the other places will also be resolved.
All right, we want to say a big thank you to the former President Ohanaeze Ndigbo Youth Wing in the person of Honorable Tony Uche Ezekwelu for joining us in the live studios, helping us talk about IMF policies, the impact on Nigeria's economy and the citizenry, and also the life times of late Ifeanyi Ubah, the good, the bad, and the ugly sides, and also helping us look at what the papers said this morning. I want to say thank you very much for the great job done this morning. Thank you very much. All right, that's how we're going to call it a wrap on Africa's Finest Breakfast Show, Global Morning. My name is Anthony Momodi, saying thank you for being part of this Sunday's edition. That was very interesting. Time not enough for us to give you all the goodies we had in store for you. But hold on, keep watching Global Television. We still have many more goodies just to make your Sunday truly amazing. Good morning.
Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle with ASU
The
strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.